Hey sexy souls, how are you all doing? Welcome to Weird and Woo Woo. We're about to do another tarot reading. So let's see here. I did a little bit of channeling beforehand. I had to even write some stuff down because it was like sit with this. Like I was being told to sit with it. So let me go ahead and just do my little spiel so we can get that out of the way, and I can kind of tell you all what the channel was about. This is going to be just a general tarot read about location change. So giving you a heads up. Friendly reminder, you are a sovereign being over your entire life, which means you get to determine if, how, when, where, why any of these messages might apply. So say with me, don't Cinderella this shit to make it fit. Okay? Okay. Amazing coffee. I did the whole, I'm just sharing. I did the whole chocolate, cinnamon and cayenne in it. Oh, I know there's a term for it. And I always I'm like, my local coffee shop puts a little spin on the name. And I think that combination, look, I feel like it comes from Mexico. It's like a staple. Because they're showing me like the abuelita chocolate stuff, and I think that that's like, it may have originated somewhere else. I don't freaking know, and like, but I know it's prevalent in Mexico, right? I believe. I'll be over here talking about coffee, and I'm like spewing some shit. Let me tell you. Anyways, so okay, let's talk about it. They were the title of the reading is going to be the Scramble. Because I discussed previously about like having like a mass exodus, and there's going to be like a rearranging of locality. And I have been reading for the collectives that I read for that are part of a larger collective. Honestly, there's intentional changes happening to help with the shifts that are going on globally. Changes in location, putting people in the right environments, in the right places. I have been, for the last year, promoting astrocartography. I was trying really hard to learn a lot about it, but it is one of those things where life, like, you know, when you take on too much, and like in trying to learn it, I wanted to have like a little group where we talked about it, and we learned together, and like maybe bring some people that are much more well versed. And it was like, despite my best efforts of pulling information in, the actually scheduling of that was just kind of difficult, because I was like, there's going to be a lot of placement changes. Like, I mean, full on environment, like, and these are like big changes. They're not small ones. It goes from everything from work to like your environment is changing. It's to pull you up out of and put you somewhere else. And it's necessary. And when I say necessary, they're like, it is 100% necessary for the development of and the timelines that you're meant to be walking down, the paths you're meant to be partaking in. So with that being said, I have mentioned before, like, I know that there's going to be like what they keep calling it a mass exodus in the United States in regards to people changing their locale to align a bit more with what they feel is safe and alignment and secure environment for themselves, whether that means leaving the country or just moving to different states. I know that things like that are happening in other parts of the world. There's a lot of shifting happening, and so that's what they mean by like it's like a lot of people up and moving. But it's not like, you know, some people think of mass exodus like, oh, like crossing overs, which that will be you will see an increase in that happening. One that I saw in my family was a major. We had, like, within a 4-year time frame, we had 6 of the 6 prominent masculine members in my family pass, and it seems like it was all. And now, anyways, I won't go into all of that. They're like, just move along. So what I was getting, and I'm going to be here. It feels like there's an uncertainty about where you're going. It's either an uncertainty about where or how it could even be feasible, if that makes sense. And I'm like, they're like, it's going to be revealed. And I'm feeling as if the reveal is going to be it really feels like January. January is kind of like and a reveal is more like an absolute knowing, like, okay, this is the plan. It doesn't mean that it's happening in January. So I was like, okay, how's it going to be revealed? And what they said is that they were like, because I was just like, oh, like a job, I was starting, and they said a job offer is too simplistic. So it's not going to be the reveal is going to be more mystical and more synchronous than that. I said more synchronous than that. So it's like, there's more involved than just, oh, I got a job somewhere else, kind of thing. Not to say that people will not, because obviously if you're moving, you're going to have to find you a job, all right? But to minimize it to just, oh, it's as easy as poof, you just get a job. Like, there's way too many people that are being, and the scramble is that they've been preparing people to be able to move, and people have been changing locations all last year. But there's something about 2025 where they really need to make, you're going to see communities change. You're going to see neighborhoods change. You're going to see, I'm seeing like certain areas being heavily abandoned, and meaning like the environment starts to go downhill because people leave. Check it out. Other areas that will boom. Like it's, I don't know why they're showing this. Like, some people will be intentionally, like, it feels like they're showing me areas that are being taken over by like corporations or something like that, where it's like the housing market is kind of like very controlled. Like, people are intentionally moving to areas where they would have more control, where the control is within the people's. And so it's like it leaves. They're showing me I know that there's something in China where it's part of like a massive problem is that they overdeveloped in so many areas, and there's so much housing, tall buildings, cities that are sitting empty, that people steered clear of. And now it's like to finance their government financings, they would continuously take loans out on previous loans, and it had something to do with like a realty monopoly. And now all these corporations are like going bankrupt, is, I don't know what they call it there. So it's like there's a big thing. So they're showing me that like these buildings where like you could fit like 500 in, and there's like 2 people in it. Like, like that's what they're showing me. So there's just going to be a rearrangement. Now, that doesn't mean that every large city is going to undergo some kind of something, but it is going to create a disruption to a certain degree. But people are being moved and encouraged by Spirit to go to certain places that will benefit them the most during this evolutionary period, okay? And is most beneficial for their path, okay? So on that, I would say, if you are feeling called, like you need to be following your nudges and your calling. If you feel called to move to a different country for a period of time, do that. If you feel called, if you like, I really don't see myself somewhere else, I just see myself getting out of this area, then listen to that, okay? They said it's like the reveal and the way in which it unfolds is going to be very mystical, and I think that's just like, there's no way. Like it's talking about the type of synchronicities feel like there's a different power at play, manipulating situations for it to unfold this way, right? Like that's where the mystical, there's mysteries in its reveal. So it's just like, it's not necessarily a mystery where you're going for everybody. It's how it unfolds. That's like, whoa, and it feels synchronistic and that kind of stuff, right? Because I said for some, it's exactly where you've been drawn to. But how things just manage to align is where it feels synchronous and mystical or magical, okay? So that's what I started out with. I don't know where we're going to go because I'm like, well, okay, that's a pretty concise, altogether message. But we're going to, I think we're going to talk a little bit more about January for this because, again, it's like a scramble. Like, I feel like spirits... It's going to feel like a scramble, like things are going to get all mixed up on the playing board of the globe. But also I feel like spirit is like scrambling things up a little bit. There's an etheric hand involved in a lot of this. So, okay. Spirit was just like, they acknowledge that there will be people that resist. But they're here to help those who do not. But okay. All right, where are we? So let's talk about, January, because I feel something really close. And I think this is if you don't know where you want to go, I think that is discovered in January. And the way that it feels to me is like it becomes there's no question about it. Like you feel very sure about it, okay? I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so we're going to start with Sun Night Tarot. I just heard, well, it's like, well, I guess that's how it's going to change. Like somebody discovers, like something happens, something evolves, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, almost like something unfolds, just kind of like, well, and there's this like, now, okay, now it's happening. All right, well, guess it's happening kind of thing. It's like there's that type of attitude or take when it starts to unfold, like when you recognize that the events, it feels like maybe events where it's just like when you finally recognize it's inevitable, which means it's started, right? I'm not talking about revealing where but for those who are still skeptical that it's for you, I think January is going to go, well, I guess that's me. Like you're going to recognize that you're part of this group. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Wait, they said more. All right. Hierophant. Seven of Cups. Magician, Knight of Swords. Well, this is just reiterating. This is Spirit having a hand in it. You not being completely 100% really sure of this, but that certain things are going to manifest. I feel like the Magician is talking about the wielding and moving and manipulation of energies that are at play. And to create, so something manifests to create this stark change. So the Knight of Swords is always about cutting something out, clearing things away, and pivoting you, right? Because the Knight of Swords is a stark contrast. It is a pivot, a change, a 180 from what you were doing. So I think that is a reiteration just to say yes, what was said was accurate. There is a confusion or uncertainty, and these are all the myriad of ways that something could manifest or happen. But Spirit is spearheading this. as long as you're working with spirit, your intuition, that will be the key to this. Okay, so what, so I think this, again, this is part of January. Six of Pentacles, King of Cups. Said to put it back. I guess they didn't mean to. I was starting to try to tap in and read the cards. Okay. So what is, in regards to this channeling, what does January hold? Talk about the reveal. The Fool. So January will be the start of this new beginning. It's gonna, things will start and kick off. I heard you're good. Like, there's this idea that you're good. You are in a good space. You're in a good place. You're exactly where we want you to be. In order to be able to do this, you just stay on top of taking care of the small details. So it's almost as if it's like things will just happen. And as events unfold, you're like, oh, okay, going this way. Okay, no, okay, so that's not an option. Okay, so we're gonna, like, I feel like it's like, again, synchronous, and in between the synchronous events or revelations or whatever, it's then on you to act. So the Queen of Pentacles is really well versed in handling all of that, managing it all, keeping things run smoothly, that kind of stuff. So it's more like Spirit is the one that's creating opportunities, avenues, events, things like that, and then it is your job to respond accordingly. But you're more like, Spirit has, you're capable. This is not something where it's like, oh my God, this is going to be above me, how do I do this? It's like your task within whatever this is going to be very much so within your repertoire of being able to handle. This is also giving me a very balanced approach when you are going through this new beginning, because the Queen of Pentacles is the epitome of having mastered the other elements, you know, your emotions, your mental, and how you choose to take action, your passion, your focus, your drive, your follow through, all of that, your confidence. So again, your job is to take care of you, and maintain this status as things begin to unfold, as this is being birthed into your life. Maintain your intuitive connection with Spirit. So it is, your spiritual practices will be whatever that may be for you, right? Some people are, it's just about self-care. And my thing is, whatever self-care is for you, where you're feeling good and balanced and you're staying in that is your spiritual practice, because it is honoring and taking care of, when you take care of you, you are in tune with your divinity within, right? And so that's like and intuition will come easily, like you'll hear it easily. So whatever you've got to do to maintain that connection, with your intuitive guidance, because that's going to be key in knowing how to take next steps. This Two of Pentacles, I always look at, like, it's not a matter of her trying to determine where she's going to put her focus. It is waiting for each step and moving along that path to be revealed, and when it is, to take that step. Okay, so let's talk. This is very general, Spirit. I'm looking for some more details on what January is going to look like for most. I know that this is going to unfold differently for everybody. We're going to do the new era elements. Well, I already love that. Tell us about how things are going to be revealed, to, like, the synchronous events, or how, because I feel like there's going to be an awareness and knowing. Like, again, it is either, yes, you're meant to go somewhere that you've always felt like you're meant to go to, or like where is the appropriate, like where you need to move to for the next phase or the next stint on your path, that you're going to know. It's like it's gonna come to you in some form or fashion. So let's talk about that, the reveal of the location itself. Let's talk about the reveal of the location itself. Really? We're just gonna throw that in there? Like, well, it might be a bit of a tower. Like, it might be shock to you. Oh, fate, no. Fate has, they're saying fate has a hand in. It's a fated location, which, okay. Which I feel like that's what I said. I feel like that's what I said, you know, with the whole, like, it's important for your path and what you're doing to be there. There may be some sudden developments or sudden events that happen that push this along, right? Because I feel like there's a very, I don't know if the location is the shock or if it's the, oh, okay. Remember I said, well, oh, all right, that's for me. Like you realize you're part of the group. You realize that you're a part of the, you're like, okay. Like there's this revelation in January that you're like, oh shit, okay, so my location's changing. Alrighty. Okay. Like there's something that happens. This could be on a larger scale because it is a major arcana. There could be events that happen in the world or politically, economically, things like that, where it's like, well, alrighty, well, that's still the deal for me. I guess I'm moving. And it may feel sudden, like it speeds the timeline up for this change. I feel like connections for some of you all are going to come in. Yeah. There may be some very fast-paced changes that occur. This is the Two of Pentacles. So it's kind of like it pushes you to the next step. So something happens in January where you're like, oh, alrighty. And I think that's what leads you to, I feel like there's some level of like looking into things, researching, like I think when it's revealed, you know that this is going to be a much quicker pace of change. Or like lights a fire underneath you to start figuring this out, right? Hold on. The change card is it is the choice. It is the mental decision. Okay, so again, something happens in January that's like, oh, okay, yep, that's me. That's what I'm doing. I'm moving. Two of Swords can be like this decision of where, like a choice between. Give me more. Okay, so let me move this away. So, no, yeah, that is the, all right, hold on, guys. That's the Wands. That's the Pentacles. Thank you. I thought it was the Pentacles, and then something said Two of Swords. I'm like, really? Like, it's irritating to me sometimes when they just don't say, you know. Anywho's, so it is. It's the Two of Swords. Because that's the Wands. That's the Cups. I guess that would be... Again, Cups. No, because like... Oh, that's... Why am I so confused about the cards? Pentacle. Yeah, it's the Pentacles. Okay. Okay, yeah, what the fuck? So yeah, something pushes you to, yeah, well, same thing. This is the idea of it's a planning. It pushes you into action for the next step, right? It is pushing you along the path. So something does happen or develop within January that you're like, ooh, all right, let's do this. This is the time. I am getting for some people, like the unfolding could take all the way to like summer, right? But January is when there's the, I fucking know. Yep, I'm going to start doing whatever I've got to do to figure it out, to set things up, to da-da-da-da, which in like research, whatever it is to get you moving along this path. That event happens in January. This is funny because I don't feel as if I don't feel self-illusion, because this one is the swords, and this is like that's why there's the birds and whatnot. They're showing me how this bird is like this bird is taking over the nest. Obviously not a fucking baby. There's a bird that does that. There's a bird that will plant their eggs into other nests, and when that baby hatches, they will kick the other baby birds out so that they're the only, and so like the mama's like, I don't have to work, I don't have to help this baby. Like it leaves it to the other birds. This bird is not that bird's baby. We fucking know that. That's where the sense of deception is. But I don't feel as if external circumstances are deceiving you. This feels more like I just heard the sense of urgency is not deceptive either. Whatever that means. So I feel like when we were talking about the Two of Swords, it's kind of like there's like a knowing, and it came to me for some reason. I was like, why am I seeing the Two of Swords? I knew that wasn't the two. I had it right the first time. I was like, oh, the Pentacles, you know. Anyways, it does that, because that's the next step. It's like, you know what to research. It kind of reminds me of Seven of Pentacles, where like, you know, when you plant your seeds, you don't really know where to direct your energy, your attention, where best putting your efforts are gonna pay off. You have to wait for something to break ground. This is the breaking ground of it, and you're like, okay, now I can do things to cultivate this and start creating to bring this into fruition, right? It becomes a reality for you. You realize, okay, moving, this is my next step on my path. This location change. And I want to say, tell me more about this. Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to put this back. This is the Nine of Cups. It's your wish. So Seven of Swords, we'll talk about having a proper mental disposition, like being properly mentally, because it's swords, so that you don't buy into any type of deception. So you don't buy into, you don't even deceive yourself. You don't buy into any kind of illusions or influences and things like that. It is positioning yourself mentally for, it's basically positive mental preparation, right? When you are prepared mentally for something. So that's why I say that there's going to be like this looking into things, this research, this gathering of information, to kind of like better arm you to feel prepared for whatever this is, so that you're not like, so that during this process, because let me remind you, the number one way that negative entities or energies can infiltrate you, and again, their favorite way to do that is through the mind space, is during major events and changes and chaos in life. And if we're talking about this level of disruption, that's when you want to really adhere to your spiritual practices and to maintain yourself and to stay in this balance, which I've already reiterated to you all multiple times, because that's when something will try to, and that's where you can be derailed. That is where, and I feel more like, and this can come from society at large, those that be in power, like they will implant fears. But I want to say that it's also like the best time for spiritual warfare, right? For people, because that's where this is, right? Like that, because the Seven of Swords is like that battle. It's like going into the enemy's camp and stealing some of their swords. You know what I mean? So it has a deceptive energy. So you have to be very, and it's like they don't want you to panic. There's no panic to it. It's like when you're on top of shit, it won't happen. You need to make sure that you do what you've got to do, the self-care, to solidify and have that positive mental disposition during this change. Solidify your connection with spirit, your intuition, and have that positive mental disposition, okay? Yeah, because the devil will try to, or negative energies, entities, past habits, past connections, things that want to derail you, with the devil card, will try to interfere with you following your guidance on your path to keep you from moving forward. That's just, you know, in one form or another. Okay, I'm gonna put this back because I don't think that was just clarifying that really. Because there's a lot at stake to come in, a lot to be birthed. This is kind of like feeling like setting yourself up for the rest of your life, and the trajectory or timeline that you're gonna be walking down. And so it's really important to be on top of that. That's really like, taking care of the self and nurturing your position in life and your connection is exceptionally important to the birthing process of this. So they say that because things start in January. Tell me more about the Tower, and then we'll ask more about the gathering of information and stuff. Now, again, for some, I want you to understand that the timeline is different. And the priority here is, or the focus for this location change is 2025. There is going to be a lot of shifting, a lot. To the point that I think even media is going to pick up on it and start reporting on it and da-da-da-da, which means, you know, if people benefit from people staying stuck, you know, let's think like, in any kind of oligarchy or any kind of like capitalist society, they want to control the types of changes. And so to think that there won't be some types of influence, this is going to be noticeable. I think that they're going to really start noting it more in the summertime. That's when a heavy presence and focus. And so certain things might be employed, or, you know, that's where propaganda starts. So yeah. Yeah, okay. So we're going to focus on what happens in January. Where are we going with this? They said not yet. So I'm going to put this bad boy right here. They want me to whip out Starman Tarot. Okie dokie. Baby. Okay. This is giving like you're going to be just fine when this happens. It's not going to, it's one of those tower moments where you're like, okay. It doesn't shake your core or foundation in any way. And I think that's also part of this message, is to like giving you a heads up. So you're like, all right, I realize this is going to happen. I want to say that you are well rooted within your life force. Energy is flowing through you. again, all of this stuff is about maintaining this, right? It's almost as if you've been through some things before that prepared you for this, where this feels just minuscule. Like it's not, it doesn't faze you, okay? That's why I get the, oh, okay, I'm part of that group. Alrighty, let's get ready, let's do this. I just don't feel being shaken by this at all, or it being a problem. It just doesn't feel like it's a problem. Certain people who are living in fear, and are in their mental, that don't have that positive mental preparation, aren't looking at things with a positive mental, like an appropriate mental, let's say, not instead of positive, an appropriate mental lens, right? Would be shaken by this, would be like, oh, and fear would come in, and and it's like, oh, it's the perfect insurance. Remember, for those energies and influences to come in, you need to keep that shit solid, okay? You need to keep your shit solid. But I don't feel like this is going to bother you. I think it's the process, especially for those where the timeline might be a little bit more elongated, right? Things start in January and it is going to last, like there's no real definitive change until, say, summer. That's where the elongated ones are going to, you know what I'm saying, where like there's more time to manipulate and play games and all that kind of stuff, right? Okay, let's see here. Tell me about the Tower and its specificities, okay? Give me some specificities for this. Oh, baby. Well, no shit. I love it when Spirit's Captain Obvious. It's a change in the energies. There's winds of change. The Wheel of Fortune, no fucking shit. Shit's changing. Like the trajectory, the energies, everything's changing. Like, I feel like that's the epitome of what the Tower is. I don't, you know. But it is positive change. We will put it there. It is positive change. Again, I don't feel scared by going, oh, okay, I'm a part of that group. Let's do this. Not to say that there won't, like, well, no, they want me to rephrase that. They're like, nope, don't say it like that. I would say not to say that there couldn't be things that some people would be scared of. Like, it's not going to happen in a scary fashion, is what I want to say. Maybe to a certain degree, there's hysteria from certain people on a global, like in certain areas. Like, you might see we already see this happening across the globe, guys. Okay, so let's not fucking play games. And some people like to really hype up the drama of stuff sometimes, right? Like, oh, it's the end days. You need to, you know, that doesn't fucking help anybody. I'm just going to tell you right now, you got a friend in your circle that's like that, and get rid of them. Wow, that sounds so mean. Get rid of them. Like, you need to, but remember, your positive mental mindset is going to matter. So people who want to dramatize shit and then act like, oh, you know, and they get wrapped up and swept up, they're probably not the best people, okay, to be letting too close to have influence over your energy, right, during this transition for you. Just gonna throw that one out there, all right? But there are changes happening, and whatever it does happen, it's for the better. It feels, and I want to say that it's actually pretty positive. Like, it doesn't feel negative, and I think that hinges a lot on you feeling pretty solid and just grounded within yourself and being like, all right, cool, this is what's happening. How is this Tower going to show up? How is the event or series of events that make someone aware that, oh, yep, time to get to going on this? There is obviously a level of trust. So this is the Fool card. This is taking leaps of faith. Okay, so I want to give you the tried and true. Well, this is how you know something new is starting. And I think, see, here's the fool down here. We've got the fool here. And it's coming out again. And I want to say, this is going to, okay, so let's put it like this. I'm going back to the idea that they are saying, like, some people, it's going to be exactly where you thought. You know, you may have contemplated, toyed with the idea, that kind of thing. And some people, it's going to be like this new revelation where you're like, oh, okay. Either way, it's new. Meaning there's a risk. There's risks involved. This isn't somewhere where like, oh, I used to live there for 5 years. Or, oh, I used to blah, 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 so I know exactly where to go. It's not that. This would be, I've been called to certain areas, or, you know, I really like this area, but I don't know really what it's like to live there. I haven't ever actually lived there. And so that is the risk that is involved in this at most, because there is a huge level of uncertainty in this. And so that's a part of the indication. That's represented, right, by the Fool card here. It's not to say that you haven't visited this place before, and that might be how you know, but it is not something that you are really well versed, right, with. Yeah. Okay, I want to know about the actual events that happen in January, though. Could you please share that with me? What are some of the actual events, the synchronicities? We have the Knight of Swords again. There's some things that are going to like change on a dime. I think that's also what's represented by the Tower, because it's very sudden. There's going to be certain things that kind of like change on a dime for some people. So they're showing me the dynamite here. Now, in this picture, it's not gone off. It's not been detonated. But you may discover something in January. You're like, oh, this is a ticking time boom. It's only a matter of time, and it becomes so evidently clear. Like you're like, time. All right, time to do this. Like there's something that's revealed that's like, wow, that is not safe, or that is not going to end well, or that's not going to be good for me. Inscribed on his shirt, okay, you can't see, but he's got a lot that's like scribbled, like carved into his chest, and it literally says no future. Something's revealed where you're like, something's a dead end. Now this could be, they're giving me the example of like a job where you're like, you start seeing the layoffs, and you already know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, like it's in your core, like, okay, well, what was secure for me here is no longer secure. So, and you know, the job market is what it is. I can't really, like, there's no future where you're at. And something is so very much solidified. And again, it gives to the air of like, maybe this is probably something you've considered before. Honestly, you've considered it before. The idea that like you need to move, because this is like, what I'm getting is people have felt this before. You've contemplated it at least, even if it wasn't like a big, yes, I want to, you know what I mean? You've been thinking, shit, I might have to change here. So it could be like, again, like I said, like things start to go, we have the dog here. Hecate may be important for some of you all. So yeah, I feel like it's saying like, it's kind of what you're dealing with here. The inevitable is coming down the pike. There's no future here. Something develops and you're like, well, that means we need to get out of here. Like it feels so assured. Like you feel so sure about it. And it feels very calm. So, but it could be time to go. Time to start working on this. It pushes you into the Two of Pentacles where you start taking steps on this path, where it's no longer just the idea and notion or the path that there, like a location changes. It doesn't just like, Ace of Pentacles is kind of like the presentation of a potential path. Two of Pentacles is, I'm taking the next step on this path. Like we're going down this path. Yep, it's the decision. Yep, this is happening. That's what it is, okay? So again, there's some events that, and it kind of just comes up pretty quickly. And the decision, the knowing, the understanding, yep, got to start taking action, happens very quickly as well. That's why it's the Tower. It's also like the Tower is an indication of something that you don't have necessarily any control over. You just don't. And so this is forces external to you influencing this situation in some of the events. Tell me about some of the synchronicities. I'm really interested in some of the synchronicities that are going to occur during this time frame that are gonna be like, whoa, because I feel like it's not just, yes, okay, I'm a part of this group. Things are gonna change for me, alrighty. Because instead of panicking, I feel like you're just like, you get on the ball with figuring some stuff out, with opening yourself up to the possibility and saying yes, and doing your part in the co-creation with spirit, right? And this is also going to be you listening to your intuition. And again, I feel like you are in a place to not have fear. The only concern is the more that happens, the more that develops, sometimes the longer that it goes, if you aren't on top of your self-care and your mental health and your connection with spirit and your intuition, like if you're not taking care of that and fortifying your protections, because that's the way you fortify your protection, it is protecting your mind. Things will influences will infiltrate, right? And getting you off kilter and getting you into a fear state. And again, like energies and people can do that when there's not a fucking thing to be afraid of. Not a damn thing. And it's amazing how they can conjure up a fear where there wasn't one. They can conjure up chaos where there was none. Like where it can rock the boat, because you give it credence and you give it your attention and your energy. And so they're saying, don't do that. All right. So I want to know what some of the synchronistic events, very mystically, the way it just shows up, the way in which it aligns, the way in which, I think a lot of your synchronistic events are going to be after it's revealed and it's confirmed for you that, yep, it's happening. And you're going to know, like, I feel like the gut inside of you is like, okay, yep, yes, time to get started. Like, it just feels that way. Son of a biscuit. So we have the Six of Cups. And the Ten of Cups was on the bottom. This is giving family. Both of these, Six of Cups talks about children, things from your childhood. This could be like where you're from, what you've experienced. It is very pleasurable, but also with the Ten of Cups, it really talks and focuses on like rewarding family life and emotional material needs being met. Like I get a family vibe from this. Tell me more about this, Spirit. Time to move on. Time to focus. All right, I'm going to put this back because I don't understand. It'll come out. It'll come out. Tell me about some of the synchronistic events that will happen in January, please. We will revisit this. We're going to call this location change, the 2025 location change. We'll just start a series on this. Okay, guys? Okay. This may be something you've held on to, or okay, so there's something, Six of Cups, like your inner child really likes this, like something that seems that you would be hopeful for, and that you've either liked or loved blindly, and you don't know why, despite whatever, you know, because the Nine of Cups is like a wish fulfillment that may have been like a desire from when you were younger. And a new potential endeavor. Tell me more. Because again, they said it's not as simple as just a job offer, right? Okay. Confidently accept opportunities, and they want me to leave that you're offered. Again, they're like, it's not necessarily. I mean, family could have something to do with things that you're offered. We'll put that out there. Or it's a wish come true, though. And in each one of these, it talks about concerns fading away. Something about when you decide you need to move and to reveal to you where it would be best suited. I think that's where the synchronistic events happen. It's like, oh, ooh, that means this, and this. Like you get excited about it. Six of Cups. You get excited. Like your inner child's like all the possibilities, right? Maybe family will help you with this transition. So when they're asking you to confidently accept certain opportunities, it's like, take the help, take the assistance with this. But there is like I feel like, no way, like something where it leads to. It engages the part of you where you're like, the place might tick off things that you've always wanted, things that you've liked since you were a kid, things that you've imagined, your dreams, your like, you know, little things like they're giving me like daydreams, like, ooh, it'd be nice at this, and ooh, it'd be nice, and like so it feels like, oh, it's meant to be, like, oh, that's right, that's the perfect one. It connects with that aspect of yourself, right? It gives you a bit of excitement. Okay. Yeah, there's like a new, is this for everybody is my question, because I'm weary of the Page of Wands coming out. It's like an exciting, I think that's really what they're saying. Like this is like a new endeavor means like it's almost like, oh, we can move here. And then it's like, oh, you really think about it and you do your research, you're like, ooh, and then like, you know what's there? This, and this, and we could do this. Like there's more potential, more possibility with where you're going. And again, that makes fucking sense because it's in alignment with the path that you're supposed to be on right now. And so it's to keep you in alignment with that. There's something about this place, but it's like getting, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, you know, when you leave candy to like lure, or like little snacks to lure your dog in, you know, it's like, it's enticing. There's things that will align, like little synchronicities from like things that your inner child would want, or things that you've wanted from childhood, to things that are good for the family. Maybe there's something that aligns really well for your children when you move. Like there's things that just like, it fuels this going, like this knowing and understanding. So when they say these synchronicities, it's like it almost ticks off boxes that you've had, but you've always said that's not, like, it makes the move easier is just all I'm going to say. Either because it makes it more pleasurable, or it ticks some of the boxes that you're like, I can't go unless this. And it's like, you're like, really? Huh. So it is a successful time, and there's a Midas touch. And they're just saying it's the end of a difficult situation. If you embrace the change, you can expect things to get better. And that's kind of what the synchronicities, it's going to actually give you some of the things that you've been desiring, that you know you can't get from your current environment. So the synchronicities are going to more align with those where we're in the discovery of the research of looking into things. You're like, you either find ways that something can happen, you figure out, like, it just, and it makes you go, I know I'm on the right path. Oh yes. Oh yes. Like, and you're just following the trail, right? Anything more specific about info? A promising venture, very promising venture. We've got some important documents. Yeah, it's a promising venture. You see that. You see the potentiality and what it can bring with this, because I think that there, if you have toyed with the idea of moving before, it was like, how is that going to be for me? Again, the how has been the thing. And it's like, that's where the mystical or the magical is. It's mystical in how things align. You're like, ooh, you see the magic and spirit in it. With the way it's like, okay, oh, if I go here, then I can do da-da-da-da. It just kind of like, it ticks boxes. And so they're just saying, this is a promising venture that you're about to go on, and stretch your wings and fly. Have confidence in this. Like, the synchronicities are meant to give you confidence in this, and to use that to fuel you as this unfolds. The Chariot this is a very important achievement, but Chariot is always Rhino spirit. Like nothing can stop you unless, again, Seven of Swords, you let fears, doubts, manipulation into your mental realm. You're meant to have confidence with this. Is there any, okay, wait, this says leave it. Anything else you want to tell them or alert them to for January? And again, we will revisit this. That will be helpful. About the location change, or the revealing of the particular location where they're meant to go. Okay, so I looked at Madame Medora's, and they have one where it's like, fate has blocked this path for you. If something is like, that's not, then don't keep trying to research it or figure it out to make it fit. If it doesn't fit, remember, we don't Cinderella shit, right? So the idea is, like, if something comes like an idea comes to your mind and you look into it, your research and what you do to try and make something, like, you know, your part in this, if it doesn't reveal synchronicities to you, it ain't it. Okay? If you've got to stretch it and do whatever to make it fit, it's not for you. Don't try to do that, okay? I feel as if the revelation is going to be fairly easy. Because I feel like a lot of people are going to kind of just, they're going to know. They're going to know. Anything else about the location in and of itself and how it's going to be revealed? The location and how it's going to be revealed. Yeah, I keep looking over at Hermetic Tarot. I'm going to do this and then we'll be done, guys. Done. I just heard sending all of you so much love. And I'm like, I heard me saying it, but I think that's spirit. Spirit wanting to say, like, I'm sending you all so much love. I heard we're in this together. We might split this group up into shorter, I might start doing more on this, like shorter, because the time frame in which this unravels is going to be different for a lot of people. And so there's people who wear this, there's a very short, I want to call it a short wick of when this pops off and when the actual move and location change happens versus some of the others. And we might need to split people up into that. So we've got the moon. King of Swords. Three of Wands. So your intuition is meant to help you, to guide you in making your decisions, to reveal certain things to you. It's going to be more about gut instincts and resonance and how it feels than it is, you know, mentally. And then I think again, that's where protecting your mental state. The King of Swords is one who makes decisions, and his type of decisions require action, right? That's the reason why I always say there's there's the sword suit, then the wand suit. So like the wand suit tends to, you know, things have to get, because the mind space is a very fickle place that can really interfere with a lot. Same with your emotions. Those tend to need to be worked out prior to being focused and driven and having follow through and having passion and like with the wand suit, right? And so the idea is the King of Swords is decisive. He interprets it, understands it, and acts upon it. His decisions aren't things where it's like, oh, it's just in the head space. He does something about it. He executes on it. And the Three of Wands is, as long as you are listening, right, to the intuition as it comes in and following what resonates and what your gut is telling you, and you act upon it accordingly, like you make your decisions accordingly, you're going to be able to receive exactly what it is. Like things will come to you quickly. Like this can unfold pretty quickly for some. There are always human hiccups is what they're saying. So if in the situation where someone's timeline is a little bit longer, it's because of legitimate hiccups. Meaning, like, let's say you have to wait for a contract to be up. Like it would put you under if you didn't. There are some situations where in those types of circumstances, there'll be workarounds. Like, oh, can I still do it what if I move here? And blah, blah, you know, like, or you may have to wait. They're not concerned. I don't know why they're saying this. They're not nearly as concerned about like leases and things like that. It's also like, oh, preparing the house to be sold, or, you know, for some people it's that. There's things that can, you know, kind of like add into, or maybe you're going to school and you can't move mid-semester or something like that. So there's things that might, but everything can get put into alignment, right? And for somebody who in that kind of situation, it would take time to like change schools and get things set up and prepare and plan for that and find the right, you know. So, yeah, some people have to, you know, like scheduling a move, depending on, some people can get up and go. Some people, they've got household and sometimes like figuring out parenting schedules and stuff like that. You know, there's so many different ways that can be, it would be, they call it human hiccups. They might get in the way, that would elongate it. But as long as you're hooked into spirit and your intuition, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. If it takes a little bit longer, don't be worried about it, okay? But again, this is how you stay on top of it. They keep reiterating that, and they're like, trust, and take care of yourself, take care of your channel, how information comes to you, and how you know, filter what you should give attention to and what you shouldn't. And things will come in. Things will come in perfectly. So on that note, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. We will come back and do more readings, and I will separate this into at least 2 different groups, like longer term, shorter term. And we will address this. This is obviously going to become a thing. Location change 2025. So you can follow the, I will make a playlist and you can follow that playlist. So I hope everybody has a fantastic, wonderful day, and I will see you next reading.